Hello and welcome to Photo Education Online. I'm Larry Lursey, and today we're going to look at studio setup. I had someone email me and ask how I have my studio arranged, and so I'm going to give you a quick tour of the studio and let's take a look. Okay, here we are in the studio, and we'll start at the back and move forward, starting with the background. Now I've got a whole bunch of backgrounds up here, and this is actually one of my shooting gallery backgrounds, which is I love because it's very versatile. I can use it from anything from a headshot to a family shot. And what I've done is I've got them on a rail system up here where I can pretty quickly move them around and slide from one background to the other when I need it, and I don't have to worry about pulling them out of bags and things like that. So I'll have the one that I'm using up at the time up like this, and that's how I will go with the backdrop. My lighting, I use Novatron lights, which basically the heads run into a power pack off to the side, and I've got one installed here on my ceiling. I mean, I've got kind of limited space here, which is kind of good and kind of bad, but the nice thing about this is by just shooting this light up into the ceiling, it gives me a nice even hair light over pretty much this whole area right here. On the sides, I've got just a monolight here with a little makeshift softbox put on it for a kicker. I've got another kicker like this on this side, and so that's going to be my basic lighting coming from the back. Now up here at the front of the backdrop is generally where my subject's going to be. And I've got a few different lights up here that I'm using. The first is going to be this background light, which is, you can see I've got just another Novatron head on a smaller light stand with just a snoot or some other sort of light modifier on it. And what I will do is, if it's just a business headshot or something where the subject's going to be right here, blocking it, I will put that right behind them, pointing at the background. If it's a child or a family or something here, then I will basically move it off to the side and let it shine onto the background. But I want something that'll highlight that central area of the backdrop to kind of give it a little bit of a vignette in the back. On the side here, for a fill light, I don't really use a fill light. I just use a fill card, and what you can see, this is just basically a big piece of foam core that's white on one side and black on the other. And it's really light and easy to move around, and that's what I will use to use the fill light. The subject's right here, I'll have that. If I want to have a little more shadowy look, I will spin it around and go like this, a little more subtractive lighting. And that's how I will work the fill. And then my main light is right here. You see I've got a large Larson softbox that gives me a nice soft, even light, and I can move it around if I want to try and work with different lighting patterns, but it gives me a pretty safe, big open light. So that's the basic setup that I will have on for most of my shoots, and that's how it works. Thanks for joining us for this week's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the studio. Next week, we're going to take a look at how to use the softbox and go a little more in depth on how to use that to get different looks in your portraits. So be sure to check back next week, and thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.